Hello, friends. James Stevenson back with another episode of Who's Hating Hard on Tesla Today? Let me roll the Who's Hating Hard on Tesla Today sizzle while I tell you today's hater is Senator Richard Blumenthal. Maybe I'll check in with my co host Loki briefly, who still hasn't eaten his breakfast. If he decides to eat his breakfast during this episode, I'll move the Loki cam so you can keep an eye on him. But I'll share my desktop with you. There's Loki. Here's the content for today's video. It's this post from Senator Richard Blumenthal. His friends and longtime associates call him Dick. And in this post, some of those friends are already affectionately calling this a total dick move. From Senator Dick Blumenthal, this recall is long overdue. For years, Senator Markey and I have sounded the alarm about Tesla exaggerating the capabilities of Autopilot and other features. NHTSA must continue its investigation to identify and remedy any additional Tesla safety problems. All right, so this guy and Senator Markey like to be annoying, and good to see a community note here. The supposed recall mentioned here is just a voluntary, over-the-air software update by Tesla. Unlike a traditional recall, customers do not need to bring their cars in to Service Center for this fix. The wording of this post is misleading with context left out. Nice. So good work, community notes, letting people know it's not a recall. Tesla isn't asking 2 million owners to bring their cars back in to be serviced or repaired or fixed in some way. What happened? NHTSA conducted a long investigation. At first, Tesla Q was really happy about this news, thinking, yay, we won. This is terrible news for Tesla Q, because NHTSA was always going to have to say something at the conclusion of their investigation, right? This has been going on for years. And what they've said essentially is Tesla can remedy our complaints about Autopilot or FSD or whatever with a quick, easy software update, free for all the owners, and we don't have further objections beyond what Tesla is going to fix with that over-the-air software update. Let's go ahead and read the article that Senator Dick Blumenthal was retweeting here. The headline says, Tesla issues massive recall of more than 2 million vehicles over Autopilot safety concerns. I'm sparing you all the ads and pop-ups and, cookie checks and everything by using the reader view on this website. Tesla's recalling more than 2 million of its vehicles, nearly all of its cars on the road in the U.S., after an investigation found its Autopilot safety system was not sufficient to prevent driver misuse. Well, no, you can't prevent driver misuse. I mean, NHTSA, I know it's your job to try to make cars safer, and I know you think you're doing that here, but if people really want to drive cars unsafely, every car can be driven unsafely, right? Anybody can not pay attention to the road, no matter what car they're driving, right? Tesla tells you to pay attention when you're using Autopilot. And keep your hands on the wheel and maintain control of the vehicle at all times. They can't actually force the driver to do it. All they can do is advise them that they need to in order to be safe, right? If that's what they want to do. But if people don't want to be safe, the government can't make people behave in safe ways, right? That's not within the control of government. The recall includes 2012 through 2023 Model S, 2016 through 2023 Model X, 2017 through 2023 Model 3, and 2020 through 2023 Model Y equipped with AutoSteer, a feature Tesla describes as traffic-aware cruise control. All right, so they could have just saved themselves a lot of time and just said all Teslas sold in the U.S. since 2012, which is what this is. In certain circumstances, when AutoSteer is engaged, the prominence and scope of the feature's controls may not be sufficient to prevent driver misuse, the recall notice said. All right, so what they want is more nags, I guess, or more prompts to the driver to pay attention. AutoSteer maintains a set speed or a set following distance, detects lane markings in the presence of other vehicles, but the company warns that drivers' hands should remain on the steering wheel and always be prepared to take immediate action, even when using the feature. All right, so what's the problem? The recall was issued following a probe by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, NHTSA, which is under the Transportation Department. Pete Buttigieg's department. That's hard to say. NHTSA first investigated the 11 incidents involving Tesla AutoSteer in August 2021. In total, the agency reviewed nearly 1,000 crashes where Autopilot was initially alleged to have been used, and focused on 322 Autopilot-involved crashes, including frontal impacts and impacts from potential inadvertent disengagement of the system. So sometimes people will turn off Autopilot and not realize that it's no longer working. Tesla cooperated and had several meetings with the agency over the next 2 years. By the way, that happens in all cars that have Autopilot, right? People can turn off whatever their car's version of Autopilot is and not realize that they did it, and then get into a car accident if they're not paying enough attention while driving. Everyone should pay attention while driving and drive safely, but we know that in the real world, which is idiosyncratic and unpredictable, traffic accidents happen, right? Tesla cooperated and had several meetings with the agency over the next 2 years. The investigation found that in certain circumstances with AutoSteer, the driver does not maintain responsibility for vehicle operation and is unprepared to intervene as necessary, or fails to recognize when AutoSteer is canceled or not engaged. There may be an increased risk of a crash. So, duh. is my reaction to reading this paragraph. Tesla is telling drivers, always pay attention and maintain responsibility for the safe operation of this vehicle, and some of the time, drivers don't. That's an inescapable conclusion, I would think, that should have been known in advance, and is the case with every vehicle being driven on U.S. highways, right? Sometimes some drivers aren't paying attention to what they're doing, and when that happens, the risk of a crash increases. I think everybody ought to be on board with that being just a reality of letting human beings drive vehicles around. The safety report said Tesla didn't agree with the agency's engineering analysis of the AutoSteer issue, but on December 5th agreed to voluntarily administer a recall and remedy a free, over-the-air software update to impacted vehicles. The update will incorporate additional controls and alerts to further encourage the driver to adhere to their continuous driving responsibility whenever AutoSteer is engaged, the safety report said. I think that just means additional nags and reminders to make sure that the driver is physically engaged with the steering wheel and that they're focused on the road ahead. Owners of impacted vehicles will be alerted via mail. There was a funny gif from Trevor Page at Model 3 Owners of a dog tearing up the mail as soon as the postman puts it through the mail slot, which Earl of Frunk Puppy 28 days later retweeted, and I saw. Very funny. I should have pulled it up for you, but go check that out if you want to see a funny dog gif. The reported note that as of December 8th, Tesla has identified 9 warranty claims received between July 13th, 2021 and September 17th, 2023 that may be related to the AutoSteer issue. NBC News has reached out to Tesla based in Austin, Texas for comment. The recall, the latest hurdle for Tesla, which has long touted its autopilot and full self-driving mode as safe. Is this sentence even right? Did I read that wrong? No, I think this sentence is just messed up. On Monday, Tesla doubled down tweeting, safety metrics are emphatically stronger when autopilot is engaged than when not engaged. Let's check the data. Let's see, are people safer when they drive a Tesla with AutoSteer turned on? The answer is yes, and it has been the whole time. And the reason for that is when there's more than just the human driver paying attention to the road, doing automatic emergency braking, doing lane keeping maneuvers, etc., the car is safer. Go figure. When you add safety features, you get safer results out. So funny. In response to the Washington Post article highlighting 8 fatal or serious Tesla crashes that occurred when Autopilot should not have been enabled in the first place. In February this year, Tesla recalled more than 360,000 vehicles because of a version of its full self-driving software that may increase the risk of crashes, NHTSA said at the time. The NHTSA spokesperson said Wednesday that its investigation remains open as we monitor the efficacy of Tesla's remedies and continue to work with the automaker to ensure the highest level of safety. Automated technology holds great promise for improving safety, but only when it is deployed responsibly. Today's action is an example of improving automated systems by prioritizing safety, the spokesperson said. Well, guess who else is prioritizing safety? Tesla. You know why? Because the people who work at Tesla drive Teslas, and they put their families in Teslas. And they recommend to their friends that they should buy a Tesla. And you want the people you love to be safe in the vehicle that they're using for transportation. So Tesla has safety top of mind. And Tesla's engineering for safety is unparalleled. Nobody sells a safer vehicle from a hardware and a software standpoint than Tesla, and the numbers bear that out. And people who understand engineering, like Sandy Monroe, will explain to you all the reasons why Teslas are safer than other vehicles are. Let me get rid of this article now and show you. I think I have something else queued up here. There was a reference here to Senator Markey and I have been sounding this alarm. I found a tweet from me saying, Senator Markey, during your 39 years in Congress, 32 in the House, distracted driving has killed twice as many Americans as World War I and World War II combined. Fewer than 100 people have ever died in a Tesla. Please stop attacking the American car company advancing a solution. Hashtag Tesla, and then I tagged Elon Musk here. This was on November 20th, 2019, so a little over 4 years ago. And then below that, I said, please see the tweet below, further reading Tesla's quarterly Autopilot safety report, NHTSA testing, and at Saved Tesla provide additional information on how Americans are safer in a Tesla than in passenger vehicles from any other brand. Why are you attacking the company making the safest vehicles there are when every year 40,000 Americans die in traffic? So here's this tweet from me from earlier, October of 2019, with that same stat I included above for Senator Markey's benefit. 94% of those deaths were caused by various types of human error. See chart. Human error isn't a new problem. It didn't begin when Tesla started selling cars. Look at all these deaths. The world needs full self-driving sooner rather than later. Hashtag Tesla. Okay, so what do we have in this box? We've got American deaths in car crashes from just the year 2000 through the year 2018. So 213,000 from drunk driving, 197,000 from speeding, 78,000 from distracted driving, 220,000 from not wearing a seatbelt, and 10,000 from falling asleep. How many of these are addressed by a full self-driving application that could take the driving task away from the driver? Well, the drunk driving gets fixed. The speeding gets fixed if you set the FSD to not speed. Distracted driving gets fixed because FSD doesn't get distracted. No seatbelt. I don't know if you can... Well, yeah, you can. You can say, hey, this car won't drive unless you have your seatbelt engaged. And Tesla does have that sensor already. And fell asleep. Even if you fall asleep, if FSD can drive the car safely without you, then these go away as well. So here's Tesla proposing a solution that could save the lives of hundreds of thousands of people over, an 18-year time span like this. Not to zero, not guaranteeing nobody will ever die in a Tesla going forward, but saying it's safer to drive a Tesla than it is to drive anything else. That's the standard. Then what do we see down here? This is the number of Americans who died in World War I, 117,466, and World War II, 419,400. So a combined just over 500,000 Americans died in World War I and World War II combined. Fewer deaths than happened on U.S. roadways from the year 2000 to the year 2018. And I got my sources shown on the chart here. So there you go. That is my video for today. Senator Markey and Senator Blumenthal, thanks but no thanks for your help. Tesla's doing just fine on safety without you. And to anybody in Tesla Q who thought this NHTSA ruling was a huge victory for them, guess what? They didn't recall FSD. They didn't say it's illegal to have Autopilot. They didn't make Tesla stop offering those features. It all got fixed with a free over-the-air software update. And that'll be the end of the investigation, in my opinion. And with that, I will check back in with my co-host Loki, who is still curled up in bed. You know he's paying attention because his eyes got a little bigger when I mentioned his name. And I'll outro and say, if you've enjoyed today's video, don't forget to click the like button. Special shout out to my two executive producers, Kathy Kitchler and Rebellionaire.com. I'm going to try something different in this video and not tell you how you can support me. I'm not telling. It's reverse psychology. And I'll see you in the next one.